Thailand's government, led by the army chief turned Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, declared a state of emergency on October 15, banning public gathering and censoring the media to tackle the growing students' protests. The protesters feel the emergency decree is yet another attempt by the government to take in their rights. They have vowed to continue the agitation depending on the crisis that has shaken the country's political and royal establishment.
They use our text in the wrong way. It should be with the people who really need it, and they still don't support us, and they want us to be quiet, and that's not right. That's not our freedom. That's not how it's supposed to be.
The roots of current discontentment go back to the 2014 coup which brought Mr. Prayut and the junta to power. Junta is a government, especially a military one, that has taken power in a country by force and not by election. In 2017, the military introduced a new constitution which allowed the military to appoint a 250-member senator that would play a role in selection the prime minister. The country held a delayed parliamentary election in 2019, which was seen as an exercise to transfer power from the junta to an elected government. But Mr. Prayut retains power after distributed election, and public resentment was building up against the military's outside influence in the government. In February 2020, the top court's decision to dissolve the pro-democracy Future Fourth Party triggered instant demonstrations. The protests, which subsided due to the pandemic, sprang back into action in June after the experience of a dissent in Cambodia. From July onwards, students have maintained the street pressure on the government and even started targeting the monarchy. The Thai monarchy has historically been shielded from public criticism by stringless major laws. The junta gave the reigning monarch Mahavajiralongkorn full control of the Crown Property Bureau, which manages the palace's rule 13 billion worth of assets. Last year, the king brought 2 army units under his direct control. King Vajiralongkorn's plan appears to be taking the countries closer to absolute monarchy, and this has triggered unprecedented resistance from the country's In August, Nam Nampa, a 35-year-old human rights lawyer, called for reform to the monarchy. Students submit 10 demands to the government, asking for a separation of the king's assets and the Crown Property Bureau. They want to cut the palace share in the national budget, a ban on the king from expressing his political views, a safeguard to prevent him from endorsing future coups. Criticism of the monarchy can be punished by prison terms up to 15 years in Thailand. The students have also called for the Prime Minister's resignation, a new constitution, fresh, free, and fair elections, and an end to attacks on dissidents and opposition parties. The government says it won't use force against the peaceful protesters, but has also warned them against insulting the monarchy. The authorities have not shown any readiness to accommodate the demands of the protesters. Now, the emergency gives the government more power to tackle dissent and protests, and the police have already arrested some protest leaders. With the students refusing to stand down, Thailand could be descending to another showdown. On December 3rd, Thailand's Supreme Court appointed the Prime Minister. The actions of the government caused great controversy. Street protests by young people have continued. The world continues to watch what is happening in Thailand.